how are you? The sun is finally shining here in Massachusetts. Yesterday it was 60, today it is 15. So welcome to Massachusetts. If you don't like the weather, give it an hour, it'll change. So today I want to talk about some of the Fashionista items I made for 2017. I love high-end runway items, but my budget tends more towards a Bargainista budget. I feel more comfortable making stuff that's only going to last a season or two within a price range that works for me. So the first thing I want to talk to you about today is this absolutely fabulous fabric that I had found years ago. It's crazy, wild, isn't that wild? It's crazy. But it reminded me of Emilio Pucci, and I love his designs. Everything, though, is very simple and clean, and then has this kind of fun, unexpected element. So I've been looking for the right pattern, really hard to find. Had this fabric in my stash for maybe 2 or 3 years. And then I ran across Butterick 5815. It was perfect. It was a sheath dress. It was very straight, nothing fancy on the dress part. However, the sleeves are so cute. They are this bell kind of, and of course sleeves are in, right? This bell sleeve, but it's split. So from the shoulder, you have this great little sleeve that just kind of opens up. And it's perfect for this fabric because you get a big swath of fabric in the front and a big swath of fabric in the back. However, since it doesn't have any give, it's some kind of polyester or something, I ended up putting in a placket zipper. So about 1.5 inches down from the armhole, I put in an invisible zipper so I could actually get it on and get it off, and it didn't look a bag on me, so it has some fit. So I love this. I'll pop up a picture of the pattern and me in the dress. It's so cute. I wore it to my daughter's baby shower. I have a new baby granddaughter. She's very cute. I'll be doing a lot of sewing for her, I'm sure, in the future. One of the other people that inspire me in the sewing world is Alexander McQueen. I think that his cutting skills and his design talent was just unsurpassed, and very tragic life. I've read some of his biographies, and the stories of his life are just so tragic and touching. But he was a master at cutting fabric. So I saw this bias cut plaid skirt, and I thought, well, you know what, it'll just be fun. It'll be an experiment. So I bought a fairly inexpensive plaid flannel from Joann's, nothing very fancy. And I cut the skirt on the bias. It's a high-low skirt, and you'll see a photo up above. But it's just a high-low skirt. But here, the trick was cutting this panel. Now, I'm going to guess, without having to examine the skirt in my hands, because I don't have the opportunity to hold an Alexander McQueen. I had to use photos, and my expectation is that he cut that whole front where it goes bias, and then there's the pleating detail, and then back down around. My guess is that he cut that all as one piece. I actually cut it as two, so you can see I started out pretty well matching the plaid up here for that short pleated section, and then kind of fell awry, but not too far off, and it looks great on. It's got a high-low, and because it has a high-low, what I did was I just bagged the lining, and again, it wasn't very expensive, but I do wear it with a pair of boots and black tights and a black sweater in it. It looks pretty cute with a big wide black belt. It's not quite Alexander McQueen quality, but it's a nice knockoff. It's not too bad considering the price, and I might wear it a few times. I'm okay with that. Okay, so the next item that I have was made from Silhouette Patterns sheath dress, and I just modified the sheath dress. I put the front on the fold and took the sleeves off, lowered the neckline a little bit, and it is a stretch silk. It's got a little bit of a stretch. It's not super stretchy, but just enough to give it some movement from Mood. And then it has a charmeuse lining, which if you're going to line something that you want to be really comfortable in, charmeuse is the way to go. Wow, it is just like so much fun to wear this dress. So I had a wedding to go to. I zipped this up, and I found these ostrich feathers from Mood also when I bought the fabric. And this dress was inspired by a Miu Miu dress that Elle Fanning had worn, and she looked adorable in it, but she's in her 20s, and it was pink feathers, which wasn't going to work for me. But these ostrich feathers, there's 2 layers of them. at the bottom, run a little bit below the hemline on the dress, and then I just found some trim at Joann's that I put on top. Now, the ostrich feathers are glued onto this band, and I think I went through about 5 or 6 needles sewing on 2 rows of these because the needle kept getting gummed up and it was a mess, but that's okay. It came out, it was well worth a couple of packages of needles that I had to go through. So the silk satin, I have to tell you, between the charmeuse lining and the kind of the little stretchy silk and the feathers at the bottom, it was one of the most fun dresses I have ever worn to a wedding. So that was, I think, the 3rd item. My 4th item is this vest that I'm wearing, and I'll show you a picture of it. It was inspired by Amal Clooney, a post that I saw on Pinterest of her wearing this plaid vest, and I thought, I have to have one of those. I love vests. This is the season for plaid. It's the season for vests. It's absolutely a perfect wear, and I get so many compliments on it because it is kind of striking. It's subtle. I wear it with a gray sweater. I wear it with a black sweater. Pretty much no matter what I wear it with, people are like, I love your vest. Where did you get it? And certainly that is always a fun thing to do. The last 2 items I want to talk about are the items behind me, so I am going to pause for a minute and bring these down. These are items that I made for my youngest daughter. Okay, here I am. I'm back. You can see I've changed. Here's the black dress with the ostrich feathers. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And then the Poochie dress, obviously. That's a lot of fun too to wear. But I want to talk to you about a couple of dresses that I made, a couple of outfits I made for my daughter. She wanted something to go to a Christmas party, and she had found this post on Pinterest and wanted me to see if I could make something along that line. So I found McCall's 7542, and it had this ruffle sleeve on the bottom of it. So what we ended up doing was duplicating the ruffle and putting 2 rows on the sleeve, and we turned the blouse into a dress. Now, I found this Carolina Herrera fabric, which is super fun, and it's great for the ruffles because it has this kind of filament running through it that gives it some structure, but the problem is it also makes it super bouncy. You can see this, it's like sponge almost. So when we tried to make the whole body of the dress, it just didn't work. There was no way I could sculpt it to make it fit. Every time I would put a seam in it, the other parts would puff out and she looked like the Michelin Man, so it was absolutely ridiculous. So we ended up using the same pattern, but we used a kind of a heavyweight pontoroma for the body, which gave it that black and white look, and then we extended it and then added 2 rows. I mean, it's just a row, a circle, big circle of the Carolina Herrera silk satin, and sewed on the bottom, and then another one sewed a couple inches above that, and so that gave it some flounce. And of course, she's absolutely adorable, and at 25 years old, and you're going to a party, who wouldn't adore that? So that was a lot of fun. The other thing that I made for her, this was her Christmas present this year, was a bomber jacket, and it's the silhouette pattern. I think it's Leslie's bomber jacket, and I had made one for myself, and I absolutely loved it. And then I was shopping at Joann's, and I found this faux fur, and oh my God, for Joann's, this fur is absolutely amazing. Look at how soft, and it's a faux mink. I had to buy a couple of yards. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it, and then I decided to make her this bomber jacket for Christmas. So I just had some faux stretch leather, and I used that for the band around the sleeves and the band around the bottom, and then the little stand-up collar. But this jacket is so quick to make and so easy to do. A little exposed zipper on this. I didn't do a lot to the seams, and then on the inside, it's pretty much all serged. Now, she is a giraffe fanatic, so I just covered the neck edge with a little bias binding, kind of linen giraffe fabric that I have for a jacket for myself. And it has a 2-piece set-in sleeve. It is, pretty much basic construction. It's princess seams, and for this, with all of this fur and everything, I mean, you can see all the seams on the inside, princess seams. It actually looks great. It went up really easy. This fur was a little harder to cut. Usually you can cut the back of the fur and you don't have fur going everywhere, but since it was on this kind of nylon base, there was no way to get your scissors in there, and so I did have a lot of fur floating around the studio, but so be it. That's the way it goes. So that is the end of my Fashionista, Bargainista video. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of my makes from 2017. I had a lot of fun making them. I had a lot of fun showing them to you, and I'm looking forward to my 2018 Fashionista, Bargainista makes. And I will see you soon. Bye.